Hi, everybody. I would like you to all open up a web browser and go to the URL that I'm typing into the chat. It's beepbox.co. And it doesn't matter which web browser you use, but you should have this open. And when you open it, it will come up and look just like the page that you're seeing on the Zoom screen. Now, BeepBox is a public program for creating music. And what we're going to do is to use it to create the happy birthday song. But first, we need to set it up in a way that is, I want to say, a useful way to set it up. And it's going to be something we're going to do a whole bunch of times. Whoops, I think somebody took over my sharing screen. Let's do this. And I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to say, boop, there we go. And we're going to share my sound. And there we go. We're back to me again. Okay, so we're going to share the screen and be able to set up our BeepBox so that we can play some music together. So the first thing we're going to do always, and we are going to fix the scale that's here. So for anyone who recognizes music, we're going to go to, there's a scale that tells us what notes we can play. And here we go to the scale pull down menu, and we're going to change this to what I have figured out is the word normal with a smiley face next to it. And we're going to click that, and that's going to change the scale to what I call a major scale in music. Now I played the clarinet since 3rd grade. And if you played any instruments like the piano or saxophone or trumpet, major scale and minor scale might be something kind of words you've heard before. So we're using a major scale because it's happy birthday. Happy songs generally have major scales. And happy birthday is in the key of F. So in addition to changing the scale to normal with the smiley face, we're also going to change the key to F. So that's the next pull down menu. So we're going to make that F. And now, for some reason, they set the tempo of the normal song of basic songs to 150 beats per minute. And that's way too fast for the happy birthday song. So what we're going to do is I'm going to click on the numbers here, and then I'm going to delete the 150 and I'm going to type 60 instead, because that's just like 1 beat or 1 beat per second, 60 beats per minute. And that's kind of what I'm expecting. And then one of the next things we're going to do is we're going to change the voice, because right now the voice is space voice pad, which is a really weird sound. I don't like that sound. So we're going to go to piano, and what we're going to do is click that pull down, and oh my God, there are so many musical instruments on my computer. So I'm going to go all the way up on this musical instrument list, and I'm going to find where it says piano. So let's see, piano. There we go, keyboard presets. And I'm going to pick grand piano because I have grand ambitions. So I'm going to click grand piano. And now if I make music with this, it'll sound like a piano. And it sounds like a computer piano, but it's close enough. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to give all of you a few seconds, like a minute, just to make sure that we've set all our settings right. We're going to do this a bunch of times, so you'll have time to practice. So remember, we set the scale to normal with the smiley face. We set the key by clicking on it to F. And we set the tempo to 60 by clicking on the number 60, or it was 150 when we started. And we're going to type in 60 and then press enter. And then we're going to go to the type, which is what instrument we're going to use. And we're going to click on that, scroll through this list until you find grand piano and click on it. All right. Now we have a couple other things that we have to do. And for now, I'm not going to explain them, but we're just going to do them. At the bottom of the screen are a bunch of ones and zeros in what I call a matrix. We're going to change the teal ones. We're going to change those to zeros. So we're going to click on the second one. Well, we keep the first one, but we're going to change the second one to 0 by clicking the down arrow. First, we click on the 1. You see the up and down arrow. We're going to click on the down arrow and make it a 0. And then we're going to go to the next one and click the down arrow to make it a 0. We're going to do the same thing actually for the yellow ones as well. So I click on the yellow one, I click the down arrow, I make it a 0. Then I click on the next yellow one, I click the down arrow and I make it a 0. And I'm going to do it for the red ones. And then for the, what color is this? Gray? It's gray. Actually, this is more like orange than red, but you know, it's an orangey red. So we're going to change the 1. I'm going to click on it and then I click the down arrow to make it a 0. But for now, I want a 1 measure song. And the last thing you're going to do is click back on the first one, the teal one, and just click on that. I'm moving the numbers. Let's make it go back to 1. There we go. Now it's a 1. Okay. Now the last thing that we're going to do to set things up, there's a lot of setup in this thing because the defaults are dumb. But I didn't write this program. I would have changed the defaults. So the last thing we're going to do is in the preferences pull down menu here, there's a whole bunch of different preferences and we want to turn on a few of them. There's one called show piano keys. We want that one on. And that one adds the names of the notes to the left-hand side of the screen. I really like that. I think that's useful. Then we're also going to hit highlight the 5th of the song key. What that's going to do is change the middle note of the scale to be blue, just because it's easier to find that way. I like it. It doesn't affect the song. It just looks better. And it makes it easier. And then the last thing is to make sure this one that says display song data in URL is checked. Mine's already checked, so I'm not going to touch it. But if it's not checked on yours, you want to check this box or click on this particular menu item to make sure the check is there. And then when you're done, just click on preferences once just to see that the check marks are in the right places. So show piano keys is checked, highlight 5th of song key is checked, and display song data in URL is checked. And I'll give you all another minute to get that set up. So remember, we changed all these 1s, we changed them to 0s using the arrow keys, the arrow buttons, or I guess they're triangle buttons, but I call them arrow buttons. And then the last thing we're going to do is click on the top left 1, and that lets us start our song. There we go. Sorry, I'm just playing. Okay, so I think we're ready to begin. We're going to try to play Happy Birthday. Now, I went online and I found the Happy Birthday the sheet music, and I figured out how to play Happy Birthday. So we're going to follow my lead in terms of the music notes, but you're going to hear them on your computer. And if they sound wrong to your ears, then maybe that's not the Happy Birthday song and you might be playing something else. But follow my lead for now until we get to the right song. Okay, so the left side here, this whole thing that has the gray lines and the brown lines and the blue lines, this is where we're going to create the music. Okay, now notice on the left side of the screen, every line starts with a particular musical note. So if I click the C, you hear a C note, and there's D, E, F. So I can make different notes of the scale. If I click on and they turn aqua. If I want to take the note away, I can click on the note again on the aqua note and it disappears. And that means my note goes away. And that's super nice because if you make mistakes, all you have to do is click it and it goes away. So first thing, we're going to make sure that the top left 1 is clicked on and highlighted. So that's the top left one is the teal one here. That way you're playing the first measure with the right instrument, which is the grand piano, which is also in the same color. So we're going to make an F scale. The first thing we do in the F scale is F. Notice that we're going to go to the line that says F. I'm going to go to the second one up from the bottom of the screen because I like how it sounds best. If you wanted to start at the bottom, you can do that too. But we're going to start, it's the brown line. So that way, if you're having trouble reading those letters, it's the second brown line from the bottom of the screen. And we're going to click F, and then we can hear the note. And if you don't like the note, you can click it again and it goes away, which is cool. So it's easy to fix mistakes. So let's click F again because I like it and I hear the sound. And then I'm going to go G because we're going to make a scale. So we're going to go F, G. And every time we do it, we move over one square so that we don't have to, we want to play it one after the other so that we keep going to the right. So we got F and we have G, and now we're going to do A. And we're going to keep going up until we hit the F. So we're going to go F, G, A, B flat. And for anyone who knows music, it's whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, and then another whole step, which is a C, then a D, E, F. And so now we have a scale that we played, but we only can play it when we click on things, and that's lame. So there's a play button at the top right that if you press it, will play the whole thing, your whole song right from the beginning. So we're going to press it, play. And then we can press it again. It says pause now and make it stop. So we can press it again, play. So we went from the F that's on the second brown line from the bottom all the way to the F that's on the third brown line from the bottom. If we play this music, we're going to hear the scale. And this thing just keeps going and plays nothing. Okay, so that's super lame. So we definitely have to use the pause button to make it stop. And again, because I kind of went past the measure, it highlighted the next measure to 0, and I'd rather go back to 1. So I'm going to click on the bottom here. I'm going to click back on the 1 again, the teal 1, so I can see my music. But because it's a little boring just to have the notes go up, I'm also going to write the measure. I'm going to write the scale going down because that's what we do when intro music class. So you do scales all the time. So let's keep the F, E, A, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F notes that we already have. And I'm going to go to the right after that F, and I'm going to make the notes come back down again. So I'm going to hit the F, and then the E, and I'm going to move to the right and go down and hit the D, and then C, B flat, A, G, F. So I basically just kept clicking and moving my mouse to the right and down. If you did want to scroll to the next measure, you click on the next, so you look at the highlighted number at the bottom, that's the current measure. And if you click on the next one to the right, that's the second measure. And then this is the third measure, the fourth measure, the fifth measure, sixth measure, 7. So this is how you move between measures in the song. So, but I just made a nice scale that went up and down. So I'm going to play, and so we can hear that. Okay, and it went to the next measure, and that was nice, but you know, okay, frankly, scales are boring, but they're good, you know, if you're a starting musician. What we're going to do is we're going to write a new song. And there's an easy way. I could sit here and I can click on every note to make it clear out, but that takes forever. So instead, I'm going to go to the File pull-down menu, and there's an option called New Blank Song. And I'm going to say New Blank Song, and it's going to erase everything I just did. So only do that when you're ready, but I'm ready. So I'm going to say New Blank Song, and everything disappears. Now it resets literally everything in this program. So we have to go back and reset our scale again. Right now it got set to easy. So I'm going to say scale is normal with the smiley face again, like we did before. I'm going to change the key back to F because that's the key I want. The tempo got raised to 150. I'm going to make it 60 and press enter. And my music instrument got changed to a sawtooth lead 2, which I have no idea what that is, but I'm sure it doesn't sound very good. So I'm going to scroll around and look for my piano, and there it is. It's right there, my grand piano. And I'm going to change the type of the instrument to grand piano. So do those 4 things, and everything got reset as well. I'm going to go back here and change this back down to a 0. And the next one, I'm going to change that to a 0 and that to a 0 and the yellow one to a 0. And all the yellow ones get to become zeros. The orange ones get to become zeros. And then the gray ones, I'm going to set to 0 as well. And then I'm going to click on the top left teal one to start playing the song. So we changed the scale down to normal with the smiley face. We changed the key to F. We changed the tempo down to 60. So we type 60 in the box. And we changed the type of the music. We changed the type of the instrument to grand piano. And then we changed all those ones to zeros. It should start, but it doesn't. So we do it this way. All right. If everybody is with me and you are all on the same page and setting these settings, what we're going to do now is write the happy birthday song. And the happy birthday song in the key of F starts on C. And if we sing it, I'll sing it out loud. I'll be like, happy birthday to you. So it starts with a C and it says, so happy, well, it's 2 syllables, so it's going to have 2 C's. So we could say happy, so we can play. Okay, so that's the first 2 notes of that song. Happy birthday. So now birth is longer. So what we're going to do, instead of just clicking it, so if we clicked it, we just get happy birthday. Birth should be a longer note, but what we've got is a short one here. So what we're going to do to make a longer note is instead of we're going to click it off. Instead of clicking and letting go with the mouse, you're going to click and then drag to the right until it is 1 full bar long. So it's twice as long as the original notes. So you click, I'm going to click it off, you click, and then you drag until it's the right length. And if you hold down your mouse, you can just keep making it as long as you want. And I'm going to make it short because I like it short. And we're going to make it twice as long as the original notes. Now that also changes the default, which is nice. So da 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 da. So if I press play, now we have the first 4 notes of the song. And now we've got the next note, which is F. So we can play. So that's pretty good. I like that. But actually, this last note, this E, needs to actually be even longer because it's a weird song. So we say, oh, let's get rid of it. And instead, we're going to make it longer. And I'm going to drag it to be twice as long as the F. And then we're going to play it so we can hear it. So we keep playing it over and over again so we can hear what's happening. Which is pretty cool. Okay, but oh my God, this is slow. If you sang Happy Birthday to Me this slow, I would probably age a whole nother year before we finish the song. So I'm going to up the tempo from 60. I'm going to change that to 90. And that might make this kind of more like human speed or reasonable speed. So I changed that to 90. I'm going to press play again. Okay, that is so much better. Yeah, let's go with that. And that's the first line of the song, which is pretty cool. Awesome. Okay, so we've done 1 line. Now we're going to do the second line of the song. And it's pretty close to the first line, but we're going to run out of room and that'll be entertaining. So let's push on. So it starts on the same note again, the C, but our note's way too long. So instead of this just clicking, I'm going to click and then start dragging left and right until I get back to the short note. That's the same length as the first one. So, and then that changes my default length of my note. So we're going to da, 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 but this one I want longer. So I'm holding my mouse down and then we're going to drag it across. Great. And now I'm out of room. Well, that's lame. This is the measure. This is essentially a full measure of music. And what we have to do is to Now create a measure 2, because this was measure 1. So what we're going to do is go down to the bottom where it has all those numbers with the ones and the zeros. And now we're going to go to the second one, the second teal number, which is the 0. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to go up arrow to make it 2. That indicates this is measure 2, which comes after measure 1. And notice that all the music's gone, but it's still there. If I click back on the 1, it shows up again. But if I click the 2, it's now empty because that's a new measure that we're going to work on. So let me play just so I have an idea in my head of where we left off. Da, 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 da. So that's the song, that's the music there. That's the C that we want. Once we have the C, then we want to go, but the next note is not F anymore. It's actually a little higher because the next one is da na 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 da na. So G, F, but actually the F is long again, so I'm going to make it longer. There we go. So let me play it again from scratch. But I pressed play, but it didn't play it from scratch. It played it from the current measure that I'm sitting on. The way you can tell where it's going to play from is that there's a white bar here on the bottom where all those numbers are. That says where you're going to start playing from if you hit the play button. So because I want to play from the first measure when I hit play, I could either click on the 1 and reset where that bar is, and that means I see this, and if I press play, so you can see as it gets to the second measure, it changes the music and it changes the measure on the screen so you can see it moving along. So that's 2 lines of our song, which is awesome. And it's pretty nice. And now we know if we want to play just from the second measure, we can click on 2 and press play. And it's weird to start a song in the middle, or we can click on the first measure at the bottom, and then we can hear the song from the beginning. All right, let's try to continue and play the third line of the song. So we're going to do another short C because it's da na 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 na. And okay, so we're going to do done. It's making too long of a note, so I'm going to get rid of that. I want long, but I'm going to hold down the mouse, drag it back to the left to make a nice short one again. So that's a short C. Da da. And then where the song goes is actually an octave higher. This is the upper. This is the next higher C, and this one is supposed to be long. So I'm going to click and make it and drag to make it a little bit longer. Good. And then the next note here I know is an A, F. And now again we ran out of room. So just to kind of give myself a sense of where we are in the song, I'm going to go back to the front by clicking on the first one at the top left here. And I'm going to press play and just listen in my head. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Wow. And we ran out of music. Okay, so now, just like we changed the 0 on the second one to a 2 to get the second measure, we're going to change the next 0, the third one, to a 3. 1, 2, 3. And that gives us the third measure of the song. And then we have the third measure. And then here we're going to continue with an E. Da, 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 da. But that D actually has to be longer. So let me get rid of it and click on it and drag my mouse to make it longer. Boop. Okay, so that's the third line of the song. Again, I'm just going to go back to the beginning and play it again because I keep having to hear it over and over again so I know where I am. We're going to play it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear me. That's right. And then I'm pressing the pause button to make it stop so I can continue on. And now we're going to do the last line of the song. So if I play it from here, so I can hear what those notes sound like. So what's good about the birthday song is you kind of all know it in your head. So if it sounds wrong, there might be a wrong note. And all you have to do is just like uncheck it and try a different note. And that's just super weird. It's definitely going to be a C. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the third one and figure out the next line. And it's, okay, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Andy. Happy birthday to you. So I think it starts up here. It's actually a B flat, but it's this one's longer, so I'm gonna make it longer. A F G F. I just knew it was those notes. So because it makes it sound right. So if we just do the play from here, we get the little bit of the third line and all the fourth line. And then it goes to 0 again, which is kind of cool. So let's start from the beginning and play the whole thing and make sure it sounds right in our head. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear me. Happy birthday to you. Awesome.